What's up, boys? Today I am bringing you the fights to make after UFC 329, McGregor versus Holloway 2. Obviously, not the ideal finish to the night with McGregor tearing his ACL, but nonetheless, it was a great night of fights for the UFC, and it sets up a ton of great matchups for the rest of the year. Without further ado, Gladiator MMA Productions brings you the fights to make. Starting off with Pinas versus Bisanger Susurkayev. Damian Pinas with a great knockout of Cesar Almeida. Just a one-sided affair. Very powerful, very long penises. But Bisanger Susurkayev, getting a little bit of a big head. Thinks he's a prospect to beat. And, Damian has something else to say about it. So I think this is a great call out, and UFC should book it for maybe a Abu Dhabi fight night, or if they're doing a pay-per-view this fall, toss it on those prelims down in Abu Dhabi, and this one would be a really fun one to watch. Obviously not ideal, we're losing a young prospect, but great matchup nonetheless. Next up, we got Alessandro Costa versus Edgar Chairez. I think this one would be perfect on UFC Noche down there in Glendale, Arizona. The flyweight division is my favorite in the UFC right now. All the fights are electric. I think this one would be really fun. Chairez has really proven himself over his little win streak he's put together, and Costa's had one hell of a year. So I think he should stay active, get in there for Noche, and one of these guys can really stake their claim in the top 15. I think Costa might have snuck in there in the meta rankings, but winner of this, is looking for fringe top 10 fights, and I just think they really cement themselves in that top 15 conversation. Next up, we got Luke Riley versus Morgan Charriere. I think this one could be William Gomez as well, but I think he needs to take on a Frenchman over in Paris for that fight night. Stay active. He's on a roll. Hunt for another knockout, but Charriere is it's not great on the feet, but not a slouch. So I think this one would be a fun one. Somebody's getting knocked out, and like I said, perfect to add to that Paris fight night. Keep this Luke Riley hype train going. This one's a little sad, bittersweet. I have a good buddy who is a big Garbrandt Glazer, but I think it's time for Garbrandt to retire. It's over. It's just about as over for him as it is for McGregor. We'll get to McGregor later, but for Cody, it's time to lay him down. Enter that nursing home like the guy on the right and just call it quits. I mean, I was about to say great career, but other than those 25 minutes, not the best. But you did good, Cody. Let's lay him down. Next up, get the Battle of the Baddies. Veronica Hardy versus Tracy Cortez. I think this one would be good for a little December pay-per-view, prelims. Give us, something, some eye candy to watch. Probably won't be that locked in on the technical side of the fight, but two good-looking women. Great fighters, too. Beautiful ladies. Beautiful skills in the fight game. But I think a really good fight for two ladies sitting outside the top 15 now. Get one of them on the right track, and both I would say are somewhat promotable. So get them in there together, and winner can look back at the top 15 here. Next up, I got Yanez versus Rob Font. I think this one would be pretty good on Noche as well. I don't know if Yanez is going to take this quick of a turnaround. I'm also aware that this would be a rematch, but it's been 3 or 4 years, I think, and I think it'd be perfect for Yanez to get that KO back and get one of his own on Rob Font. And this one would be a really fun one on the feet. We're talking winner of this gets somebody from that 10 to 15 range, the bantamweight top 15, and can look to keep climbing. The next one I put together is Manuel Torres versus Terrence McKinney. This one is not lasting probably more than 3 minutes, to be real with you. These guys are going to be coming out throwing bombs. Somebody's going to find it. Somebody's going to be out cold. They should both take some time off, but this one will be good a little bit later in the year here. And just be fireworks. Like, you know what you're getting with this fight. Speed, power, and it'll be a quick watch, so don't take your eyes off the screen. Next up, in quite stark contrast to my two beauties in the last women's fight that I put together, we got two beasts. Rose Namajunas versus Kong Wang, or Wang Kong. Not exactly sure which way you say that. The Kong's before the Wang, or the Wang is before the Kong, but you get my point. We got two women that, I mean, borderline, call them men, but we're going to be respectful. Two women that are, looking to climb the flyweight rankings, and both have, name, value, not necessarily face value, but need to, focus in on the fight here. It would be a great matchup, great exchanges on the feet. I probably wouldn't watch too closely, but I think this is a fight that I would really enjoy in the women's division, and winner of this can start to look for maybe one more fight than the title, and both super promotable. And we got Rose, who's obviously already a star, and then Kong Wang, who would really play into that market over in China, and I know the UFC's always looking for that, so book this one for pay-per-view prelims, just like the Hardy-Tracy Cortez matchup, and I think it's a really fun one. Next up, I got Ryan Superman Spann versus Gable Stevenson. Guess we should call him by his nickname too, Gable the Loophole Stevenson, but I think this will be a good matchup. I think Stevenson should take it pretty slow. I've seen some people saying to shoot him up the rankings, but this would be two quicker heavyweights. Spann's going to give him some issues with how big he is, but I don't think it'll be a problem for Stevenson. It's just going to be a good stepping stone before we get him up into the top 15. Two quick guys. I can't imagine this one goes very long. Somebody's going to find that finish, and I think it's a good jump, but not too big of a jump for Gable, so get this one booked. Shit, they'll probably throw Gable Stevenson on the main card next time he fights, but let's maybe get him on a fight. I don't even know if they're going to put him on a fight night, but take him slow, and I do see bright things in the future for Gable, so this is a good next matchup. Probably my favorite one that I made out of all of these fights is Robert Whittaker versus Azamat Murzakanov. It's girth versus tonnage. They're both about as girthy as you can get. Two great strikers. I think somebody probably finds a finish in this one, and striker's delight. So good for both of them. Murzakanov coming off that loss to Costa, and then Whittaker looking to climb. Murzakanov was pretty highly ranked. I don't know what they have him in the new meta rankings and all that, but I think it'd be a good step for Robert the Reaper Whittaker. Next fight is Bobby Green versus Dan Hooker. This one's perfect for a co-main or main event of a UFC fight night in Australia. I mean, shoot, you could also let Bobby Green open up another pay-per-view, and I think it would be, an electric fight. Set the tone. Both of these guys are coming to scrap, and really don't think you can make a better fight. My next one here is Tatsuro Taira versus Loney Kavanaugh. Ideally, you wouldn't want two prospects, fighting and taking each other out, but I think it's just where they're at in their career. We could see the new age, take on each other for once rather than trying to take out all these unks. But both of these guys have that win over Brandon Moreno that really sprung them up in the rankings. I think winner of this just proves that they belong. and Loney has a little bit to prove with his grappling. I don't think it'll be any real issue, but Tatsuro Taira is going to bring that challenge again, so I think this is a good matchup to book. They can put it over there on one of the China cards. If they want to do a card in Japan, this is a great one to add. But, I mean, the flyweight division is just freaking awesome. This fight would, I'm sure, not disappoint. And, yeah. Next fight I put together is Talbot versus Sandhagen. I think it's time for this fight. The only downside is Talbot's probably looking to get in the cage here soon, and Corey seemed to have torn his hamstring from that Suluev stretch. I can't help but think where they're at now with Talbot's win over Cejudo and Sandhagen obviously coming off of a couple losses here now. I think it's perfect for them. It'll be another striker's delight, and yeah, I think the UFC should probably hop on putting this one together. Next up, we got Raw Dog versus the Gooch. You know, anytime you can get Raw Dog and the Gooch up in each other's faces, you just got to get it done. So I think we should get Brandon Royval in there with Kyoji Horiguchi. Two veterans, two guys looking to really cement themselves in that top part of the flyweight division. And with a win, honestly, Royval's probably looking one more than a title shot, and then Kyoji could rattle off a couple more and get there himself. So this one would be a good one for, honestly, like the Apex. But I mean, Royval's never in a bad fight, so I say you book this one. Be really exciting, fun, high action fight. And yeah. Next up, I got Benoit Saint Denis versus Rafael Fiziev. This one I've seen all over the internet as a fight to make, but I just think it's too perfect. BSD took little to no damage. Fiziev can ride his high of getting the knockout over Manuel Torres in his home country. So I say you book this one for the main event of that Paris fight night. If they decide to switch it to a pay-per-view with Aspinall and Gane, which I don't think they will, it's a perfect featured fighter co-main. So I think this is one you can turn around and book right away if BSD's ready to make another weight cut and can hop in the shower here soon. Next up, I got Mario Bautista, that is, versus Sean O'Malley. I know they're friends, both of them in Arizona. I always see on the Sugary Goose show and Tim Welch's podcast that they're always glazing Mario Bautista. But I think where they're both at in the bantamweight rankings, both coming off wins, this is honestly a title eliminator, and ideally you turn them around and you let them headline Noche in Arizona, where they're both training out of. I find it really hard to believe the UFC will make it, but I think this is a perfect fight for the bantamweight division, and I think they should go ahead and book it. Next up, I got Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. You gotta fight somebody. But anyway, they're both washed. It's over for Conor McGregor. It's not over, but I don't need to see him versus Holloway again. I think you put these two old heads against each other, finally end that tough 34 season, and call it good. Chandler, after waiting this long, finally gets what he deserves, and hopefully Conor can ride off into the sunset, end his contract with the knockout over Chandler. If he can't get that done, then it's a wrap. It's time to start promoting bare knuckle pretty heavily, and hopefully not get back into drugs and alcohol. Next up, I got Paddy the Baddy versus Ilia Tapturo. I think this is obviously a great fight. Perfect now to make. Belt or no belt, this will sell out a stadium. This will headline a pay-per-view. The amount of eyes that will be on this fight will be insane. I've got Tapturo taking it home. But I got to be careful. Just keep doubting Patty. I had BSD this last weekend, so the build up for this would be great. The shit talk would be insane. I think now's the time you book it. Everybody wants to see it, and obviously you have that infamous moment where Top Toro shoved him in Miami when Joe Rogan said they needed to bring Patty in the cage. So play off of that, play off of hand sanitizer, boy, and get this one booked, UFC. Finally, we got Mauricio Hofi versus Max Holloway. Like I said, I don't need to see Max Holloway versus McGregor again, but this absolute banger would be awesome to add to any pay-per-view as a co-main. Spice up any pay-per-view to end the year here. Maybe get them in Vegas in December, and dude, another striker's delight. Just, I mean, it would be great. You get a younger, better version of McGregor in Hoofy, and we can really test how good Holloway still is. So I think the UFC should book this one coming up here at the end of the year. And with that being said, those are all the fights that I bring you after UFC 329. Thank you for watching. If you guys have any other fights you want to see, be sure to leave them in the comments. Leave this video a like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. With that being said, Bryce Mitchell, Kevin Vallejos, Josh Van, Carlos Prates, Drew Dober, Bruno Ferreira, Josh Hokett, and Iwo Baranowski all would like to say goodbye.